In this video, I'll show you how to construct a LED chaser circuit on a breadboard just like this one. As you can see, the LEDs are lighting one by one and in sequential order for a short period of time each, and this cycle is repeating, which gives us the so-called running light or LED chaser effect. The project utilizes two integrated circuits, including the popular 555 timer IC here, which has been configured in the Astable mode. This establishes the timing of the output signal, which in turn is driving the LEDs connected to the outputs of the second IC here, which is the 4017B, and it's being used as a decade counter. There are many variations of this circuit, which get used in all sorts of LED driving applications for advertising purposes and other types of displays, but let's start by building this circuit from scratch, and then I'll take some time to explain how it actually works. As I mentioned before, the 555 timer chip is configured in the Astable mode, which essentially means that the output changes continuously between high and low, or on and off. If you'd like to know more about how that mode actually works and what's happening within the 555 timer to actually make that possible, check out my recent video on that topic. It goes into a lot more detail, including how to select the right components to get the timing that you need. Basically though, the resistor here, the capacitor, and also this variable resistor are acting as timing components. We're then taking the output signal from pin 3 to blink this blue LED on and off. The output frequency can be adjusted by changing the values of the timing components that we're using. In this case, I have a variable resistor in place of a fixed resistor value, which allows us to change that resistance value on the fly, and so adjust the output frequency and so the speed of the flashing LED. The blue LED that I've placed at the output pin of the 555 is entirely unnecessary in this circuit, but hopefully it helps you visualize each individual output signal as it in turn drives the LED sequence from the outputs of the 4017. It also helps you test that the Astable circuit that you've created with the 555 is working as expected before you go on to assemble the rest of the circuit. Here we use the output signal from the 555 to trigger the 4017 counter by sending that signal to the clock input, pin 14, with this jumper wire. The 4017 is wired into the decade counter mode by grounding its clock inhibit pin, or pin 13, and the reset pin, pin 15. The lit LED repeatedly sweeps from the left through to the right in sequential order through all 10 of its decoded outputs, each one going high and then low, moving sequentially onto the next output. The internal counters are advanced one count at a time, with each transition or clock signal received when the clock inhibit and reset terminals are low. What this leaves us with is 9 of the 10 decoded outputs are low at any given time, with the remaining output high or on. The outputs are going high sequentially in step with the clock signal, which we know is being generated by the 555 timer. And so, as we discussed before, if you were to adjust the output frequency of the 555, it in turn would increase or decrease the speed of the running light effect that we get from the 4017 outputs. Basically, when we adjust the output frequency of the 555, we're just increasing or decreasing the speed at which the output signal is sent to the clock input on the 4017. The circuit we've built here utilizes all of the 4017 outputs to drive 10 red LEDs in a straight line and light them in sequential order. There's no requirement, of course, to place them in a straight line, and they could be arranged in any order or shape. The 4017B is a member of the 4000B family of CMOS ICs and can accept a DC supply input voltage from 3 to 15 volts. A quick internet search will produce many different versions of this circuit that you can choose from, but it's worth noting a few things when it comes to power dissipation so that you don't damage the IC. Many of the circuits you may encounter actually rely on the internal action of the IC to limit the output currents going to the LEDs. These circuits are typically designed with a supply voltage of less than 8 volts, so that there's no risk of exceeding the power dissipation limit at the outputs of the 4017. So essentially, when you connect the LED directly to the output of the 4017 without any kind of resistor in series, you really need to be keeping the input voltage to less than 8 volts. The maximum power dissipation value for the 4017B IC is given in the datasheet as 100 milliwatts per output stage and 500 milliwatts per package. Keep that in mind if you decide to get creative and make modifications to the circuit. In the circuit we've constructed here, I've placed current limiting resistors, so 470 ohms, in series with each LED to help reduce the IC's power dissipation to a safe level. Currently, I only have 9 volts DC being used to power this circuit, but it should in theory be able to handle anywhere in the range of 6 to 15 volts DC. The counting cycle can be inhibited by setting the clock inhibit terminal, pin 13, high. Additionally, a high signal on the reset terminal, or pin 15, clears or resets the counter to 0, and so sets the decoded output 0, or LED 1, high. So pin 3 would go high or on and reset the counting sequence again. It's also possible to cascade multiple 4017 ICs together in such a way that you construct a circuit with as many decoded outputs as you need. So if you need multiple decade counters to work in unison with each other, that is entirely possible, and you'll find many different circuits explaining how to do that online. But that's it for this video. I hope you found it useful. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments section. If you found the video helpful, please click like and don't forget to subscribe for new videos coming soon. Thanks for watching.